Hey everybody, Dr. Diane, your Libido Doc here. We're talking today about sexual styles. So many people have a different sexual style, and oftentimes if we do not understand our partners, we might be showing up in the bedroom in a way that is not matching their style. Now, of course, we want to show up in the bedroom that is in a way that's true and authentic for us. But think about it in a way around understanding your partner's different archetype, right? How your partner actually gets turned on. So when we understand our partner's styles, we can then respond to them and show up for them, and they can show up for us in a way that allows us to feel more pleasure, but also more cared for. So sometimes we are approaching our partner the way we want to be approached, and their style might be different. So we're going to learn all of that and more in today's episode. Today is another episode filmed by the New Health Media with host Jessica Preston. Let's get started.
And we're back. And back with us today is Dr. Diane Mueller, naturopathic doctor. She works with women ages 35 to 60, taking their lives from average to awesome with health, hormones, and relationships. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Thanks, Jessica.
So we've talked about foreplay, we've talked about intimacy. I would love for us to talk about one topic that you've told me about that you've created, which is different, is it relationship types or is it
Sexual types.
Sexual types. And what this is, from my understanding, is we all receive our sexual love in different ways. And that can be different for us and our partners. And I equate this to what people might know like love languages. We have different love languages and we want to learn that from our partner. So you have a mapping of sexual types for people so they can start relating to each other better and understanding each other in that way.
Absolutely. And you're right. The love language example analogy is perfect because what we see with the sexual types is similar, that the more we understand that what our core principles are about what turns us on and our partner, the more we can actually work together to create that, and the more we can actually understand each other. And I'll give specific examples as we go around, oh, they did this or they did that, and not taking offense to it because we actually understand what it's providing for them.
Okay, so let's dig in. You have 5 types.
Yes.
Will you describe the 5 types to us?
I will, and as you guys are listening, I would really encourage you guys to listen to all of them, because what tends to happen as I describe these is people tend to start really saying, oh, that's me, or that's me, or that's me, and that's great. And what tends to happen is we all have all of these in us somewhere, right? So these are things that you'll probably recognize, like, oh yeah, I've seen that part of me before, or I've seen that part of me before. So what we're really looking to identify here is like, what is that core one for you that is like the predominating one? Then of course, what is the core one for your partner? So this is a fun thing to take notes on, talk to your partner. You can build this into your foreplay activities as well.
Okay.
So let's go for it.
Let's do it.
Okay, so the first type I will describe, I call the kinky type. What I like people to understand about this is a lot of times people get kink and fetishes mixed up. Kink, by definition, is basically novelty. It's that person that really gets turned on and excited by anything new. And that and anything out of their norm, right? And so that can be very different for one individual or one couple than for another. For one couple, maybe they have sex in missionary position all the time. And the moment they do something like reverse cowgirl, where the girl's on top of the man or on her partner, and she's kind of facing the other way, she's facing kind of away from him on her knees. So the minute a position like that happens, and somebody is like, oh my gosh, this is like the hottest thing, I'm so turned on, that is a kink. It's like, hey, this is outside of our norm. We tried something new. This is novel. So it doesn't have to be anything in bondage, that sort of world. It can be very, very, minor in terms of some of the changes that actually turn us on. So that's kinky. The next type is sensate. So sensate is so turned on by anything of the 5 senses. So this person is gonna want to really set the stage. They're going to get the candles going and the music going. And where I've seen this go wrong, if people don't understand they have a sensate partner, is this is a type of scenario where maybe you're starting to make out and like you're really feeling hot, and all of a sudden your partner's like, oh, I have to go put music on. Right? And it can feel really jarring around like, well, why can't we just enjoy the moment? We're already here. But for that person that is so intimately related to their sexual experience that it really is part of what's providing for them that turning them on and getting them more able to connect.
So music, candles, so sensation. What other sensations would you say?
So these can be things like what you're wearing, or having sex on, say, a sheepskin rug, or textures.
So lingerie. All of this is in
all of that.
Visual and so scents. Maybe people that use scents.
Yes, absolutely. Yep, anything that's getting the essential oil going, making sure you have that special candle that has that special scent. Even people that like to bring food into sex, strawberries and whipped cream and all those kind of things can also be related to this particular sexual type.
Okay. All right. So kinky, sensate.
Yes.
Okay.
Then we have the emotive. So the emotive is somebody that is so turned on by feeling emotionally safe. This is the one that I oftentimes get people lost in because a lot of people relate to this one. But how do you know if you're emotive is if you are somebody that it's almost impossible. It feels almost impossible for your pleasure body to drop into the enjoyment. If there's something on your mind, if you're feeling emotionally disconnected, if you've had a long day, it's really difficult for this person to turn it off. This person is going to need to say first, I got to process, I got to almost vomit out this stress and these emotions in order to be present. But this is also a person that typically will be brought to tears during sex because they're moved by how beautiful it can be. So it's not just about you got to get it out. It's wow, I am so connected with my heart and to our heart, space with sex that we actually then are just moved to this emotional tear.
Is this someone who is more tantric? Is this someone who is more in that whole trying to connect energetically,
yes.
kind of emotional space? Okay.
This is that person that's going to be very interested in let's circulate our breath so that our heart space connects more because I feel that more different. Absolutely. It's a really great example.
Okay. So we have kinky, sensate,
emotive.
What's next?
So now we have the giver.
Okay.
The giver is somebody that is most turned on when they actually give. So this is somebody that I'm kind of in the mood, then I go down on my partner and all of a sudden it's wow, I'm really turned on. This is a person that's really going to be watching extra closely for those feelings and those looks, those visual cues in their partner's face, because when they see the level of pleasure their partner's having and they're able to provide for their partner, that's going to turn them on almost more than anybody else. And this is again, you'll probably hear this and say oh yeah, I love, hearing my partner moan or, seeing them make this face that I know they're so turned on. But this is that person that this is one of the number one core things that actually really gets them going.
Okay. So, and that one is?
That's the giver.
The giver.
Yes.
Okay. And so the fifth one?
The fifth one is the playful. So this is going to relate to our previous conversation around foreplay, because the playful person loves the tease and they love the chase. So this is an important one to be aware of if you are the playful or if your partner is, because in order to be really turned on and in the moment, you're going to probably have to put a little bit extra energy and make sure if we have our scheduled sex date tonight, we really do want to make time and set those cues so that we're engaged in some of the, the sexy talk and some of those teasing types of things, because that person really, really needs kind of that long tease in order to get into the mood.
Okay, so let's review. So we have kinky, sensate,
emotive,
giver,
and playful.
Those are our 5 types.
Correct.
Okay, so when you have, you identify your own, and then you identify your partners, and this I'm presuming is in conversation.
Yes.
Say these are the types, what is this, and maybe even practice. I imagine most people don't actually know what their type is, and so maybe that is getting out doing the music and the massage oils and food in the bedroom or whatever it is maybe, and really pay attention in a safe way with your partner to go slow and see what it is that you actually enjoy, and go through each of those 5 types and really pay attention to yourself and each other, maybe even talk about it?
100%, because when we're also talking about things like foreplay, and it's like, like sometimes, like we were talking in that other episode, like it can feel awkward when we haven't done this in a while. It's like, well, where do we even start? Well, this is one way.
Yeah.
We can schedule, we can say like, let's have a kinky night. Let's have a kinky scheduled sex night. Another night it can be let's have a playful sex night or a Sensate sex night. And so it can create a level of novelty in relationships. And it also just breeds the ground for so much more emotional connection, because we get to talk about like, okay, well, let's now plan our Sensate sex night. And like, what does that look like for you? What music turns you on? What candles do you like? So it really can create a emotional connection to our partner. And then it also gives us good material afterwards to be like, okay, well, how was that for you? Did that do anything? Did it add anything? What could change? And the fun thing is, like, what sometimes I've seen is then we start to get into these cues around like, oh, wow, that song turns both of us on. And if you then make love to that song a few times, then it can be a really fun thing around like, okay, I'm driving home from work, I got to get in the mood. And it can help with that state change too. Yeah. So we start building in these almost like triggers with this that we can bring back into getting us in the mood and into showing up for our partner more fully.
I think it's important to understand that we know this is scary. We know this is scary to think about, even when you've been with a partner for 10 years, when you're thinking about how do we change the aspect in the bedroom, this can be a little frightening. And so how can you help people get into that mindset? What can they say to each other to feel like, okay, we're on a new adventure?
Yeah, it's an important thing to bring up because it is scary. In fact, sometimes in longer term relationships, I actually think it's scarier than new relationships because it almost feels like there's more to lose, right?
Right.
And so some of it is having that conversation with a partner and starting with like, what would be like, I heard this thing on TV and I'm interested in exploring this, like, and I want to have a conversation, just see like, hey, if we start opening and exploring something like this, I would just want to know what this would provide for you. Like, would this be valuable for you? What do you think it would provide? So if we start almost from that, like, hey, what does this offer me and you in the relationship? Before we go into the nitty gritty details, it really sets the stage of, again, putting us back on the same team.
Yes.
And say, hey, we're coming at this together because we have this shared goal. And then we're just going to explore as partners to see if we can meet that shared goal through this methodology.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for being with us again. Will you please let our audience know how they can reach you?
I want to invite you to my 4-day Better Sex Jumpstart. That is right. My goal here is in 4 days, you will be having better sex. And since Love Day is coming up here very shortly, we are doing this live and I am doing this Jumpstart for free. So in the show notes, you will find the sign-up link of how to have better sex in 4 days, step by step, with yours truly guiding you through the process. Make sure you get that coupon code. You will need that coupon code to bring the price down to 0. But we are going to go very, very deep and very, very thoroughly into a step-by-step process to really launch you into better sex coming up soon. Don't miss out. I have no idea if I'm going to be doing this again live or not. So this is your opportunity to get this for free. Please take advantage. I can't wait to have you there and all the sensual, juicy yumminess. Women, men, partners, all invited. So please come. It'll be so wonderful to have you. And I will see you there soon.